Top of the morning, everybody. Welcome to Cowboys, Trailers, and Ranches. I'm Jimbo, and our special guest and co-host today is Mr. Rick Thompson of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it.
Yeah,
Appreciate you being here.
This is so cool. This is so cool. And in case everybody's wondering what the hell I'm doing in North Dakota, I'm up here riding for this brand, Rodeo Rigs this weekend. We are at the North Dakota High School Finals, which is right down the road in Bowman, North Dakota. I snuck over here because a good friend of mine, Lori Eisenbeiss, who I had on with Wild Rides, if you guys remember earlier, hooked me up with this guy and told me all about the North Dakota Hall of Fame for Cowboys, and I'm like, I'm in. I'm in. So Rick is the connoisseur of Cowboy Hall of Fame, and he's going to tell us all about how this came about, who's here, why he loves it, and his background. So, man, once again, I'm excited. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I haven't even got the full tour yet.
Yeah, it's a great place. You know, if you're anything Western, you gotta like what we do, and you know, it is a great place, and we try to, you know, just bring that history and keep it alive. You know, and there's a lot of history. There's history everywhere.
No, right on.
Somebody just needs to capture it and make sure that it's captured.
Yeah, and if you haven't been to Medora, where we're at right now, North Dakota, what a little freaking hidden gem.
Yeah,
oh.
It's for sure one of those that, you know, and it's, you know, if you talk to anybody that you know, we get a chance, of course, to talk to everybody that comes from everywhere, and North Dakota is usually the 50th state that they've been in. So they leave North Dakota for last, but it's you know,
you don't think about it, right? A
Yeah.
lot of people don't think about North Dakota as being
right, exactly.
Cowboy state or Western, and all I'm gonna say is you haven't been then, because the Cowboys that come out of North Dakota are some of the best in the country.
Yeah, you know, and it's kind of like, you know, what does North Dakota have to offer, you know, and until people get here, you
Right.
know, they don't know.
No.
But that's like anywhere, you
No,
know,
you're
it's
right.
like anywhere.
Or if they've been in the oil field,
Yeah,
that's the only thing that they put
millions,
together.
millions of people have been here because of that oil field, you know, and from every state. I think we had them here from every state when we were rocking and rolling in the oil business.
Right on.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though,
Yeah.
because you're right down the road from Dickinson,
Yeah.
which is one of the largest oil field gatherings, right, in the country.
Yeah.
Is that still going?
Yeah.
Is that still
Oh
going?
yeah, the oil field deal's still going, but it's not as big as it was, and you know, up till 2015, kind of it's slowed a bit, but it's still going. Absolutely.
Wow. So so Medora is still feeling a little bit of that from the oil field still?
Yeah, you know, Medora is maybe a little bit on the verge, more that because Medora's what it is. It's it's the beautiful spot in North Dakota right here. You know, I mean, it really is.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
It's freaking cool. It is cool.
It's a pretty awesome deal. The Theodore Roosevelt National Park is right out our back door here in the museum, and they have a musical here that's done by the Theodore Roosevelt Medora Foundation, and that's a story in itself. But what a foresight to make this, you know, to preserve the history of this country.
Right on.
What's really cool about Medora is where the cattle drives really ended. They went to Miles City and Medora. You know, Miles City is really the big spot, but they came to Medora because we had a packing plant at that point in time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they shipped cattle. They shipped cattle here. You know, so the cattle drives came here.
Huh.
They needed a place to go with that meat, and they put it on rail and sent it to Chicago. Out
From
of
here.
Yeah.
Didn't know. That's good stuff.
So and then the packing plant broke down, and you know the rest is history. But you know, in the 1800s, this was a booming place.
Huh. So when I drove into town, I saw a few patrons that might not have been locals. Are we pulling a little bit of some of the
Oh yeah.
from other places?
You know, we pull people from everywhere. You know, here absolutely.
Huh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So,
Yeah.
because I don't think anybody thinks about North Dakota as a transient state, right? But you're still, if you think about it, you just said it, the oil field brings them in from everywhere.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of transients.
Yeah, the state of North Dakota right now is bringing people from the Ukraine to work in the oil field
Didn't know that.
because we can't find anybody working in the oil field anymore. So there you go.
Yeah, there's that same broken record. Can't find anybody to work. But
Yeah.
anyway.
That's everybody, not just North Dakota.
No,
I'm sure.
no, absolutely. So, tell us a little about yourself. Where you grew up? Did you grow up ranching? Grew up cowboying? What'd you do?
Grew up on a ranch, but went to school at North Dakota State University in Fargo, and animal science degree, and actually ended up in the radio business most of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is kind of easy stuff for you.
Well, I've seen a microphone or two.
That's why you offered up your equipment today.
So
You wanna use mine?
did a rodeo program, for many, many years, and that's kind of sums it up for me. I was in the rodeo. I rodeoed, but then out of rodeo, I was one of those guys that knew that you get tired of losing and everybody taking your money.
And beat up.
Yeah. So we talk about it now.
Yeah, I know all the memories,
Yeah.
all the trials and tribulations,
Yeah.
and all the what we should have done and we didn't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, North Dakota you guys do make some pretty good bronc riders. So.
Yeah, for sure. And often, and I think about this when I start talking to people about, rodeo events. We talk about bronc riders all the time because that's where North Dakota is,
right.
But somebody wanted some footage the other day for some things, and I got all kinds of footage. I got lots of bronc riding footage here, and I said, I got to thinking at that point in time, hey, we got to give them something else, dude. We got to get some steer wrestling and calf roping in there, barrel racing, and so we did, But it's the natural, and I don't know. I'm as bad as anybody else thinking, North Dakota is kind of the capital of. The Brad Germansons made it that way.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think when I was growing up, when I was rodeoing, I rode bareback horses. And I remember Germanson, I remember Herman, I remember Merle Temple, who's got the same last name as me.
Yeah.
So, all those icons, right? All those guys that are in the freaking Hall of Fame, they all came from the Dakotas.
Yeah.
Not Texas, not Oklahoma, not California. They came from the Dakotas.
Yeah.
Good
Absolutely.
Cowboys, good cowboy country.
Yeah, it is. We've got, and we go back, Alvin Nelson was a first world champion from North Dakota in the bronc riding in 1957. So we go back, as far as that. And we talked a lot about our North Dakota six-pack, which is...
I didn't know about that till today.
Yeah, and and it's guys, and those guys dominated, same time as Casey Tibbs, so the Lindermans were, there wasn't a million Cowboys back there, but the ones that were going were
good.
really
We're
good.
good ones.
Yeah, we had some native Cowboys like, that really dominated too. So Joe Chase happens to be one of those six-pack that they talk about all the time. They talk about six guys that kind of dominated, and they all came from this little cluster of the world right here and around Medora now. Alvin Nelson, the Tesher boys, Jim and Tom Tesher, and Joe Chase, and Dean Armstrong, and who am I forgetting here?
I'm getting a history lesson. Y'all are getting a history lesson. I'm getting. Love this.
But yeah, Dwayne Howard, that was a bull rider. Yeah.
Oh, he was a bull rider.
Bull rider and a bronc rider. They all rode broncs, all six of them. They all did other things too.
Right. That's a cool picture. That's the first thing you see when you walk in here. You walk up and like, man, that's freaking cool. That is awesome.
Yeah, in the 50s and 60s, they were
legit. They were the deal. They were the deal. So that brings me to the next thing I was going to ask you. what brought you here? What's the history of this Hall of Fame? Because this is, I'm telling y'all, if you ain't been, you got to go, because this is one of the nicest ones I've been in.
You know, if you've not been here, we'd love to hear what you think of it. You know, we've had guys, you know, we've had a lot of celebrity, like, I mean, Larry Mann was here for a couple of different events that we put on, and you know, Larry said that this is, and I mean, he told me, he said, Rick, you got something here that nobody else has. He said, this is awesome. This is a great place. And, you know, we've got Dean Oliver. Dean Oliver said, man, I didn't know what to expect when you invited me over here.
Surprise!
But, you know, and guys like that, you know, so I can tell you that you know, we really think that we have something, and other people do too. So.
It's amazing. I'm not kidding you. I mean, you guys can see a little bit of the sculptures behind us, but I mean, this place is just filled with memorabilia, with old rodeo photos, and big, huge freaking mural. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
You guys have killed it. Absolutely killed it.
Yeah, we're sitting in the in our Hall of Honorees, where around us on the walls are our inductees from years gone by, and you know, behind us is the kiosk, or in front of us is the kiosk that houses over 230 that we've inducted into the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. So,
Who was the first?
the first bunch were those guys that I
The
just
six
talked
guys.
about.
They were the
Six
first
guys,
ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's there's a lot of, you know, and there are guys that you know, like any state has. I mean, there's a lot of guys that certainly have that, you know, that are great rodeo athletes that never chose to go down the road to try to make a finals or that sort of thing. And you know, you can't forget those kind of people.
That's the guys that are saddling up
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock in the morning. They're not coming back until dark. That get zero love, right? I mean, that's the everyday working ranch cowboy. Is what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Right? And you're right. And there's a bunch of them in North Dakota.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of them in North Dakota.
You know, I mean, it's a big cattle state, and it's a big, you know, agricultural state across the entire state. So, yeah, you know, that's what we do here. So,
Is Medora kind of near and dear to your heart? Is that your favorite place in
you
North
know,
Dakota?
it's certainly one of the great places in you know, in North Dakota. But yeah, I mean, it's where the beauty is. You know, we're right on the start of the Badlands, and
Yep.
and so, you know, there's a lot of really cool things around here. So, yeah, and a lot of history. You know, I love it because of the history.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, this is where the old Cowboys were. I mean, this is where they brought them herds, you know, year after year, back and forth from Texas to North Dakota. You know, and that's why it intrigues me more than anything.
This is a history lesson, and if you, like I said, I'm getting a history lesson today. I know you guys out there are like, wow, I never knew that. So, is there more? As of right now, and I don't know. I keep up with stuff quite often, but is there more cows in North Dakota right now in South Dakota?
You know, I don't know that number, but you know, they're typical states. You know, east and west. I've always said they should split it east and west instead of north. I mean, north and south instead of east and west. So, you know, the western side of South Dakota is full of cattle, and same way with North Dakota. On the east side of both states are, you know, more the corn and the soybeans and
That's
sugar beet.
more row crop.
Yeah,
More row crop,
yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Right. So who's you said Larry Mahan. Is there somebody else that people out there might know that is famous that's come through here?
Oh man, we've had them.
No, let me think.
We've had
Kevin Costner.
You know,
Has he ever come through?
Forey Smith has been here.
Oh, has he?
Yeah,
Right
Forey's been here. In fact, we couldn't hardly get rid of him. But
I heard he's a good dude. I mean,
he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He was here for a week. He came for a couple of days and spent 2 weeks.
Stayed for a month.
Yeah. But we had fun with him, and yeah, it was, you know. But just the other day, Butch Knoll stopped in to see us.
Right. Well, that's a name I haven't heard for a while.
Yeah, you know, so Yeah, there's been a lot of guys that have been through here. But this whole thought process started in 1995, and that's what we incorporated in 1995 and built this building in 2000 and finished it in
Almost 30
2005.
years.
Yeah.
Going on 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So where do you think, Rick? Where do you see, like from now moving forward? Where do you see our Western industry going?
boy, that is a question. That is a question.
Big question mark.
It's boy, if it goes like the rest of the world, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I've always, you got to have some faith in the Cowboy, and I think hopefully we stay true. There's a lot of people who would love to have what we have, and I hope that they
Yeah. Oh yeah.
don't
No.
get what we have.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. I know what you're saying. I read you.
But there's good and bad, but I hope I really truly think that that's why we can't lose history, because if you can't look back, you're in big trouble.
Right on.
So
And I think that's where we stubbed our toe with this next generation.
yeah,
And not all. I don't want to throw that bag out there, but a majority of this generation, they don't know about this.
Yeah.
A lot of them probably don't give two craps about it. But you just said it though. If we lose our history,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of what we got.
well, absolutely, and especially in our history is great, and we haven't yet, and I hope we don't, but that's what makes it kind of enjoyable for me to keep going.
What's up?
What we do?
Yeah, absolutely. Keep the heritage alive.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than learning something you don't know.
Right
I
on.
mean, those guys, those people that that are inducted, those people that get nominated for induction. And I love reading about that, because it's somebody that I don't know and
Right
don't
on.
know anything about.
Yep.
And say, man, that was cool. I mean, I did not know that. How did I not know that?
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing all the time. Was looking at that
True.
kind of stuff.
True. That's a good point. That's a
Yeah.
really good point. So, came up with a question for all our guests, and I kind of alluded a little bit about it about 30 seconds ago. If you were to change one thing in our Western industry to keep it Western, what would it be?
Change one thing.
Change one thing, or make something better to keep it Western.
Well, I think that's a tough question. That's a tough question.
Woo! I stumped the master.
Well, you did.
I love this.
Yeah.
The man has never been without words, and now he is.
That's the truth. I'm trying to find the right answer, and I don't know that there's a right answer, but it's.
Oh, I'm not sure there is, but
yeah, you're right.
it's something that
Yeah.
it's got to be something that you believe in that should still keep going, right?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing about that if you look back at, I often hear people talk about the code of the West, the cowboy code. That's a big deal.
Right.
That's a big deal to Cowboys. It's a big deal to our industry.
It is.
And we should have it hanging on every wall.
I agree. I agree.
Because it is something that we do.
And we got away from it.
Yeah, and we did get away from it. And I've had people ask me that lately, and I got to tell you that I couldn't go down that list. And if somebody does, I can certainly explain it to them, but I'm going to miss one. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So
I do. You're right.
So, but it's an important deal.
So back to what we were talking. Code of the West. Live that code of the West every day.
Every day.
And you're right. That's a good point. Have it where you can see it every day, because you lose track of it.
Yeah.
We all do, right? We all do, and we got to be reminded of it sometimes. So.
Yeah, it's, it's not much different than putting goals on your refrigerator.
True.
And hey,
That's very true. That's good. That's good
But
analysis.
that's something, you got to stay focused. You got to have that passion to keep going on whatever it may be doing. Whatever you're trying to master. So, yeah,
That's good.
that's where it is.
Go to the West. That's a first. You couldn't think of it. Now you thought of the best one.
I don't know about
Good
that.
job.
There's a lot of things. I'm sure you get lots of good answers. When you ask that question.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, seriously, it's pretty incredible. And every week I look forward to that answer.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
every week, like yours, go to the West. That hasn't been brought up before. Last week it was judgment.
Yeah.
Somebody brought up judgment
Yeah.
in our society and in our industry, right?
Mhm.
So.
That's a good that one you could
Oh, that one hit me. I'm like,
that,
woo!
yeah, that one you could go pretty deep on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That came from a lady who's an Italian hat maker.
There you go.
Julia Tacchino, with Tacchino Hats brought that up last week, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that's freaking,
That's right there.
yeah.
That is.
So that was, but yours, man, go to the West.
Yeah.
Good one, good one. So, hey, I want to thank our sponsor, Ranch Texas, for today's episode, ranchtexas.com, and once again, farm and ranch agents out there, I want to invite you to have an open mind and talk to us about EXP. I know you're getting me tired of hearing it, but ranchtexas.com. Appreciate you guys as always being there for us. Rodeo Rigs out of Montana. Whoops, this one. Right for the brand. Thanks, Courtney Higgins. Laredo Conversions out of Weatherford, Texas. The Cowboy Roundup, that really, really important rodeo clinic scholarship. Get on board, guys. If you guys want to really, really help out these youth kids, the Cowboy Roundup. And then everybody's favorite hat box, the Beaver Box. Thank Miss Corey and Scott Powers for bringing that to light. And stay tuned because we got something coming up in next week with the Beaver Box. So stay tuned for that. Mr. Rick Thompson.
Hey.
Man, I so appreciate it. I mean, this was cool. This is really cool. I got educated. This man educated me today. I hope y'all got something out of it because this. I'm gonna say it again. If you haven't been, you got to go. This is one of the nicest Hall of Fames and museums I've been to.
Well, thank you.
Hats off.
We'd love to see everybody.
Hats off. And Medora, put that on your radar. Medora, North Dakota. It is a little gem.
Yeah, it is.
And they got a pretty cool little bar in town too. The little what's the little
Little Missouri.
Little Missouri? Yeah. I have to check that out.
Yeah.
So.
You got to do that. I'm sure you will.
You don't even know me, but you know me.
Part of that cowboy deal.
Yeah, no, it is. Go to the West. Go to the West came from that man right there. So appreciate y'all. We're gonna sign off. We're gonna call it a day. Letterbuck. Keep it Western.